Well, while it is with sad words that I have to say our elf waifu is not yet in the bag to join Touka here in his revenge plot, I'm sure we all agree it is only a matter of time before she inevitably will join him. In the meantime though, in episode 3 of Failure Frame we do get a quick look over at the classmates of Touka and how they are doing their journey so far. I have to say I found it quite humorous when Kendall character uses his Dragonic Buster skill and seems very self-smug when he's like, yeah, reached level 18. Oh yeah, baby, I'm doing so good. While Touka's over here at like level 1800. It's like, yeah, I think you have some catching up to do. Not gonna lie on that one. Anyhow though, a decent amount of stuff happened in episode 3, mostly with the classmates though, as Touka's story on his end didn't really develop too much, though we will get into that later. So I wasn't really sure if they were ever going to cover the classmates or if they were just going to let it be sort of a mystery and then have them meet up at some future time. But no, they did end up wanting to cover at least the classmates somewhat. And I imagine moving forward in the season, they will also showcase how the classmates are doing time to time, some snippets here and there, just to give us updates on their journey and how the factions and whatnot are doing on that side of the fence. Now I will say that I do find it interesting how they are setting up like different factions within the class and how the classmates are sort of instinctually going into different groups and how they might be on the same team yet at the same time being somewhat confrontational with each other, or it not being just the one good big, happy group. Right? So that I think is interesting if they keep building on that aspect. If we see more, let's say, of a breakdown of cooperation, maybe different groups or alliances, factions in the class splinter more properly and we see them going their own ways to achieve this end goal of defeating the demon lord whatnot to be sent back home. Somewhat interested to see how that entire thing goes and how the mechanics within the class might develop moving forward if they choose to do that at all. Now, first of all here, I want to talk about this specific waifu character, or, well, girl anyway. Asagi, I believe her name was. And she seems like a very shrewd lady, I have to say. Very shrewd. She's amassed a certain following. She's a B rank, so she's not at the top of the food chain here, but she seems to have recruited basically all her sort of girlfriends from school into her specific faction. And she's trying, as we see, to recruit properly this very well endowed, so to speak, female waifu character to her faction as well. Though she's only D rank, it seems that she mainly wants to have her join them because even if her skills are not useful in battle or whatnot, as she herself says, her other quote-unquote assets might be good in a pinch, as she gets a nice handful. So I have to say, quite shrewd thinking indeed. I'm not quite sure what she is thinking they will be useful for, but as we all know, having an attractive female as a bargaining chip is never a bad thing, especially in a isekai world where, well, we know what happens to attractive females there, I'm sure. Anyhow though, this Asagi person seems very shrewd, and I'm interested to see where they go with her character, and the busty waifu character as well. We do get a slight sort of hint of, okay, so she was kind of friendly with Mimori, or with Touka, rather, when he saved the cat that was hurt or something back in the real world, and she's anguishing and crying over not being able to save him, or not doing anything rather, probably feeling a lot of guilt due to her inaction. So it's like showing, okay, she has regrets, and she'll probably do her best to live up to those, or do something to redeem herself in the future, so we will see where they go with that, if anywhere at all. But for now though, she just slays this beast, as she is basically forced to do, to join this faction with Asagi, and also pass the goddess's trial, because I guess every classmate has to kill a beast, or they fail, and I guess they are sent to the chopping block, so to speak. And that is when we get the POE thrown over to our student council president, Sugoo? Oh, God. Some names I'm just really bad with, but student council president. She was the only character back in episode 1 that did anything to try to save Touka. She's very dutiful, right? She feels a responsibility for all of her classmates, I assume, and she's very honorable, right? And she thinks back to him the second she wakes up. And then she has this sort of semi-confrontation with the goddess again, right? Now, the goddess explains to her that, hey, you've been asleep for a few days. You have to pass this test to, slay a monster. Though a few of your classmates haven't actually completed this mission, and, well, we can't have useless people in the group. So if they don't pass the test, we'll have to just get rid of them too. Sorry, that's just the law. Now, of course, you can just see the utter and complete lack of sincerity in this goddamn piece of goddess, as she's even fake crying, not a single tear, not one, but trying to act all, oh no, I didn't have a choice, haha, how boohoo, how sad. But she ends up sort of recruiting the student council president to be part of the group, right? To go after the demon lord as the goddess wants, to save the classmates that would otherwise be discarded. So I do like how they set this up so that they give a good reason for why the student council president chooses now to go and still work for the goddess, so to speak, being an S rank, just because of how valuable she is as the S rank to then save her classmates. So she's doing it purely out of a sense of, yeah, I would just go away and not do anything for you if I had a choice, because what you're doing is despicable and how you are is despicable. But because I can't just leave my other classmates that are also weak to die, I will do this if you spare them. So, okay, that's a good sort of trait to show. And again, showing that the student council president is a very sort of honorable, upstanding character. I like her a good bit. I do also like the small touch where the goddess, takes her hands like, oh, thank you for being so, kind-hearted to help out here, even though she's basically being pressured and forced into it. But then how she then comments on after she walks out of the goddess's office, like, wow, her hands are so cold. Like, yes, I can imagine. Her entire soul is ice cold. I can only imagine. Because goddamn, that goddess is one nasty. That is all we get, though, of the class. So we'll have to see what else I want to cover with the classmates moving forward, if at all. I assume we'll again go back to them every so often, and then we'll just see how they do. Anyhow, though, if you've made it this far in the video, do please remember to like and subscribe. It greatly helps out the channel, so thank you for the support. Now, next here, I do want to quickly touch on the elf waifu, of course, because, well, who isn't here for the elf waifu, am I right? I mean, she is stacked in more ways than one. We do get a tiny bit of backstory on her, though a lot of it is still shrouded in mystery or lack of information so far. So apparently, she is clearly running away from these holy watchers that are after her for some reason. We learn at the after credits scene that she is a paladin, or was a paladin, at some, I don't know, monastery, or somewhere at least, before the place where she worked or took care of was destroyed by some other faction, or who knows. And she's also an elven princess. And of course, she has a bounty on her head, as we also learn, which is why these holy watchers and I suppose many others are also after her. You don't find out a lot about her from when Touka interrogates her, as they just have a very short interchange during the episode, but at least we get the sense of that, she's very honorable, she is trying to do as much as she can to feel like she's paid Touka back for saving her life by killing these holy watchers. But in the end, they part ways, and elf waifu is sadly not part of the harem, party yet. Though inevitably, we know it will happen, right? Of course it'll happen. Maybe in the next episode or the one after, for whatever reason that the show comes up with. Not only because you can't have a waifu like that not be a big part of the story, but also because Touka himself says that, yes, I need a sword, I need a front line, I need a tank, right, to protect me. And of course, the elf paladin fits that description pretty well, Moving on, though, to the Holy Watchers and Slimes and, Touka's revenge plot, I suppose. So, yes, we do get some more insight into the Holy Watchers, and yes, okay, anime, I get it. These people are very, very bad people, joking about doing very nasty bad things that I can't say on YouTube because I'll get demonetized or, blacklisted, so very bad people, I get it. Bad people doing bad things. So, when Touka murders them, well, that is totally fine and good. Though I'm not quite sure why Touka was doing the whole "I'm so scared, please don't kill me" act. I suppose he was doing it to get information out of them before doing anything. Or perhaps he was also doing it to ascertain their intentions, because he seems to have set rules for himself that, yes, I won't have any problems with killing others, even humans, but only if they, fit within, let's say, the criteria of being killed. And that seems to be some sort of mix of, okay, do they have hostile, murderous intentions towards me or towards others that are innocent? And if so, I'll be justified in offing them. So that's, fine. Having some sort of moral code there is very reasonable, considering he could kill basically everyone otherwise. As we see, of course, with the elf waifu, as he paralyzes her, he could have easily killed her if he wanted to. So, good for him to have at least some sort of self-restraint, as he is now a raid boss with the massive levels and stats he has. We do also learn during this whole exchange at the end of the episode that, okay, Touka is in a different kingdom, not in Alien, whatever it's called, but some other kingdom. So he's apparently much further away than I expected. We do find out that, hey, this ancient scroll can't be read by the elf waifu, but she directs him to this witch in the heartland of the continent that may be able to read this ancient scroll spell, Forbidden Art, that he wants to use against the goddess as his trump card. So that, is where he is off to next, I can only assume. And that is where the episode ends off. I will also quickly note here that I really find the 3D and whatever CGI this anime is using very jarring. I just don't like it. I mean, I get you want to use a different style and whatnot, but 3D and stuff like that, I just don't like how it looks. It really just puts me off. It doesn't destroy my enjoyment of the show, but it really just, it irks me. It really does. I notice it very, very obviously every time. But I guess it is what it is. It's not going to be the end-all be-all for me, but I wish they wouldn't have, Oh, right, of course, I almost forgot. Slime friend. Because we can't have an isekai nowadays without a slime in it, somehow, some way. I guess they introduce him, in a cute enough way. This tiny slime being ganged up on by the bigger slimes, but he fights back before Touka steps in, and then, they end up forming a nice friendship. We're both outcasts, I guess, or both, the runt of the litter being cast out. So that now we just have a very cute slime companion. So I guess that's that. Well, slime get, I guess. He is very cute, though, and adorable. So I guess I will approve of the slime. Touka did also look over this, forbidden spell to strengthen slimes, which I guess is a dark art or whatnot. So I assume the slime will actually be useful and not only be like a cute sort of toy-esque companion that we just look at and think, oh my god, kawaii. We'll have to see though how that develops moving forward. Anyhow though, episode 3, I mean, I still like the show. And it does seem like the show is definitely dedicated to covering the revenge plot. Touka clearly states that, hey, my only goal here is revenge, and that's my journey, that's what I'm going to do, that's my focus. And that just makes me feel good and confident that, oh yes, finally a good revenge anime, where he's not going to be distracted, not going to go out to everything else, but just go for the revenge. And I hope we can just see the goddess just in utter pain and agony as she is defeated, hopefully, by the end of the season. Or a later season, if it gets multiple. And though, as I said, overall, I enjoy the anime still. I think it's fun. I don't think it's as edgy as some people claim it to be at all, but it's overall enjoyable, and I hope they continue the route they are going, and that it ends up being a very fulfilling, let's call it that, journey by the end of the season. What are your thoughts though? Like it, hate it, leave all those thoughts down below, or any other thoughts on my commentary or analysis of episode 3. That being said, I hope you have a nice day, keep watching anime, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.